And I would like to introduce Chief Rapporteur for this session, Mr. Pedro Ballesteros Torres, European Commission, DG ENER, Brussels. Moderator, Mr. Carlos Años, Business Unit Director, LATAM WU, Grundfos Pumps, Argentina. The panelists are Mr. Pranav Mehta, Chairman, NSEI and Global Solar Council, Mr. Ramesh Patidar, Chairman, Shakti Pumps, Madhya Pradesh, India, Ms. Immaculada Miracle, International Project Manager, Europe, Central and South America, INES, Mr. Shrikant Sharma, Assistant Manager, Indian Energy Exchange, IEX, Ms. Katya Lavon, Senior Sales Manager, Specialist in Comprehensive and Smart Solar Powered Pumping Solutions from Lawrence, Germany, Mr. M.K. Mishra, GM, ENM, ECL, Coal India Limited, and Mr. Pashupati Gopalan, Chairman and CEO, Sun Daesan. The discussion will focus on impact of solar water pumping system, SWPS, in India, and possibility of replication of successful model of solar water pumping systems, depending on socio-economic condition in ISA member countries. Special focus will be on solar water pumping and efficient use of water, capacity building and sustainability of SWPS projects, role of DISCOM in installation of solar pumps, role of financial institutions in solar water pump program, employment generation through SWPS, aggregation of demand and its implication on cost reduction. The panel discussion will start with a presentation by Mr. Rajneesh Rana, General Manager EESL, India, on aggregation of demand for off-grid solar applications. I welcome you all. Mr. Rana.
Good afternoon to all. I will be giving my presentation in the English, so I know that most of the population is comfortable with the Spanish over here, but you have to bear with me due to this language barrier. So my presentation over here will be the aggregation of demand. We have just concluded, I just set the context about the presentation this whole session will be based on. We have just concluded a price exploratory tender for the International Solar Alliance, which is a very unique kind of a tender where around 22 African countries and the Asian countries have given their demand for the solar water pumping to the ISA. And we have done this tender, the international competitive biddings, and we have explored the prices. So in my presentation, it will be mostly focused that how things demand can be generated, it can be aggregated, and how it can be benefited to the masses by bringing down the prices and by taking the quality of the products to the next level. Yeah. This will work. So I represent Energy Efficiency Services, which is one of the public sectors in India. It's under Government of India organization, which is mainly into the many programs which I will showcase you. These are the few of the programs which ESL is right now running in India, and now we are start going outside India also because the government has mandated that whatever the benefits we have accrued from these programs, they are for the masses and it has to be go to the out of the country also. So few of the programs which are very popular in India is the Street Light National Program, which is the Ujala. This is a LED bulb program. Then there is a Street Light National Program is there, e-mobility program, agriculture demand side management. Then we have a decentralized solar is there. Then there is a solar Urja lamp program for the school children, National Motor Replacement Program, Tri-Generation. So these are the programs which we are running in India. So just to set a context that how these programs are very unique and what we have done for the ISA also, this program which in the time to come will also accrue the same benefit to the environment, to the society, to the poor farmers, to the country. This is one of the programs where we have initiated, where earlier in India, most of the population of the bulbs which we used in the house of incandescent bulb or the CFL we used to bulb. So in this program, what we did, we have introduced a 9-watt LED bulb, which is good enough to replace the 100-watt incandescent bulb. So you will see that from 100-watt consumption, the consumption comes down to 9 watt. So there is a saving of 90% electricity. The only deterrent was that the cost of the incandescent bulb was almost a 20th of the time of the your LED bulb. So no market was there and nobody was ready to buy because the poor person or a middle class person can't buy the expensive LED bulb, though the consumption is almost 90%. So what we did, we have aggregated the demand and we did our first tender, where from in the first tender itself, we saw that the price comes down to almost 40% of the market cost. And later on, when we keep on doing the tendering, the price keep on falling. So, so far we have distributed around 360 million bulbs in India. And you will see that just simply by replacing these bulbs with the incandescent and CFL bulb, it has created a lot of benefits. You will see that almost a 20,000 megawatt of added solar, power generation has been avoided. So we have avoided almost a 5 to 10 big coal-based plant or any plant that just only introducing this program to the market. Apart, when we are not generating that kind of a power, so naturally the coal will burn less, then there will be a CO2 reduction. So these are the additional benefits which has come with the program, apart from the reduction in the energy consumption or energy bills of a poor people. Just see that in the first program, when we did the procurement, the cost of the LED bulb was somewhere around $5 US dollar. So it was quite an expensive proposition. That time the market price was somewhere around $7. So we did the first tender, so it comes down to $5. The first tender itself was of around a million bulbs, which was considered to be a very big quantity at that time because there was hardly any consumption at that time. Even the industry was not ready for that kind of a tender. So we go with the industry, we seek their help, they have also helped us, and then the journey keep going on. In the second tender, if you will see, again, the prices has come down almost to 40%, and the 2 years' time, it has come down almost below $1. So almost 80 to 90% price reduction has done in a 2 years' time. So all this, because the first tender, as I said, was of a 1 million, the next tender was of a 20 million, and the third and fourth and fifth tender was of somewhere around 500 million each. 50 million each, sorry. Another program is very interesting program, Street Light National Program. In India, most of the street lights are lit up with the, again, the incandescent bulb or the sodium vapor bulb, which consumes a lot of energy. The yellow lights we used to have. Now we introduced this model where all the LED lights or all the sodium vapor bulbs have been replaced with the LED lights. Now this is the unique model where the municipality which are cash strapped in India need not to pay anything, need not to invest anything. Whatever the savings have been accrued from the reduction in the power consumption, from that it has been paid back to us. So all in all, they have got the new infrastructure in place, they have not invested anything, and all new street lights have been come up, which is in a white in color instead of yellow. So you will see that almost this is the biggest program in the world where almost 10 million bulbs have been replaced. Agriculture demand side management, again in India, the electricity is almost free for the farmers because they generally get the electricity during the night time and because the socio-economic condition. And they use a very inefficient electric pumps because they need not to pay any electricity bill. So we introduced this program where the free of cost the pumps have been distributed to the farmers. These pumps are the B 5-star label pump, which are in India is a very high efficient pumps we can consider. And these pumps are replaced with the ordinary pumps in the farmer field, and that leads to almost saving of 30 to 35% of electricity. Again, this 30-35% of saved electricity has been accrued, and the DISCOM used to pay back from this saving to us. So the farmer got a new pump, whereas the DISCOMs also get some sharing from the savings of this one. And the repair and maintenance also has been on our part. The farmer is free to them. And these are the, if you can see them, the sidelines, these are the other benefits. Apart from the farmer got the new pumps, they have got a lot of energy savings, the carbon reductions is in place. The new feature which is being given to the farmer is that they can enable these pumps, they can switch on, switch off these pumps through the remote also. Remote in the sense, in the remote is worked through their mobile phone. If they are sitting any place, they can switch on the pumps. They are sitting, they can switch off the pumps from any place. So as I said that they get the electricity in the night time, so they need not to visit to their field in the night time. They can just simply give a missed call to the pump, and the pump will start running. And they know that after 4 hours or 5 hours, they have to switch off the pumps. Automatically, they can set up, and the pumps get stopped also. So in a way, they are saved the electricity, and more importantly, then they are drawing a less water also. So now coming to the main thing, this is the background what we used to do and what we are doing also. Now about the International Solar Alliance tender. Now seeing this approach, the ISA has requested us, and we are very proudly being associated with the ISA that this opportunity has been given to us. Though this tender has to be concluded, it's an international competitive bidding. They have given to us. It's a unique kind of a tender which has to be done for 22 countries, which has given the consent for around 175,000 pumps, no, 275,000 pumps, quite a large in number. So, and you can make out that there are 22 countries and different places. Then this is an international competitive bidding where anybody from any part of the world can bid into that one. So, in a way, it was quite a challenging task for us. But with the help of ISA and our bidders, we have concluded successfully. There are numerous challenges in this one. So the entire exercise is being carried out within a 3 months' time. So these are the few of the challenges in this one. So almost, if you can make out that 5 to 6 variant of the pumps were there according to the size, that is the one thing. Then there are 22 countries. Then there is a AC and DC category of the pumps were there. Then there is a further category of submersible pumps and the surface pumps. So all in all, if you will see, there is a matrix of almost 6,000 entries of the pumps has to be done, or the price has to be explored. So 6,000 prices you have to explore for these countries. That itself is quite a challenging task. And so we realized that how we can provide a value addition to the country. So we have bifurcated the prices into the 4 segments. The first segment was that whosoever will be giving the prices, they have to give the price X port of that originating country. Say suppose a Japanese has to bid for this tender, so he will give prices to the whichever the port in this country of the Japan will be, Japan is there, so he will give that price. So we can make out that this is the base cost of that one. Now the second cost is about the voyage cost. So from Japan to, say, suppose Nigeria, that may be a different cost. From India to Nigeria may be a different cost, and Germany to Nigeria may be a different cost. So that is the second cost we have asked from that, the freight. The third one we have asked about the local transportation. Once the material is being received at a country which is intent to receive this one, then there is an element of customs, the local transportation, and the installation at that country. And the fourth one is the comprehensive maintenance for the next 5 years. So we do not want that the people should come, they will install the pump, and they should go away without maintaining the quality. So these are the 4 components we have added. And the reason being that some of the countries may said, yes, the component 4, what somebody has quoted, is on the higher side, so they will take care about the component 4 locally. Or the component 3 also they feel that yes, it is on the higher side, so they can take the delivery at their own port, and then they can take the program of their own. So these are the 4 parameters on which we have discovered the price. The good thing is that, see, you can make out that when the ISI started doing this exercise, it took a lot of time from their side also, and we always knew from the day one that it will going to be very challenging. Reason being The country has given the indent. Now in the country, there is a different province is there. In the different province, you have a different water table altogether. There is a different challenges altogether is there. So collecting that kind of information and zeroing into that one it was a task. But having said that, we have come up with this tender, and our bidders who have bidded into that one, they are also shown their interest. We have devoted a lot of time in that one. The pre-bid meeting has been happened, discussion has had happened number of times with them, and successfully we have concluded that one. And the prices which were discovered is almost at the par which the government of India, because we have taken the benchmark of the government of India, the local prices of the quality and all these things. So due to some uncertainty was there, but still we have able to discover the price, and if you'll see, the comparison is there, so it is almost there. So in a way, it's a good price exploratory which has been done so far, and it will be, hopefully, will be beneficial to the country. As I said, that many of you may be knowing over here that what are the prices of this kind of a pump set if you would procure over here, what are the prices are there, and the prices is being discovered by the ISA. So now, next steps are there. The ISA is going to giving these prices to the national focal point of these 22 countries, that these are the prices the ISA has discovered, and the national focal point or the respective agency in that country can place the order to the pump supplier who has given these prices. We have the contract performance, we have the EMD with us, that is the earnest money is deposited, nobody can back out from these prices. So now in the coming days, we have to work towards that one. The first part is over, which is of discovering prices, and good prices has been discovered. Now the second most challenging part will come, that how this has to be implemented at the ground level. And from this tender, this is the one, then if it will be success, naturally again the aggregation of demand can be done for the other solar programs also, and which will be beneficial for the member countries which the ISA is doing. So this is from my side. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I would like to introduce Pranav to share with us your knowledge in this subject.
Well, friends, I am glad that Rajnish Rana from ESL has given us a very good idea about this demand aggregation and how it has led to the price discovery, price reduction. But from the Global Solar Council, which I represent, and also ISA point of view, what I see, I am giving my presentation first, then I will request the others. We view it like this, that any good idea, any change, if you look through the recent history, it succeeds only and only when it reaches the people, it reaches the masses. Whether you take the mobile telephone and cell phone, or you take, let us say, the internet, the motor cars, and everything, unless it reaches the mass, reaches the people, it does not succeed. In case of solar, within the Global Solar Council, we have always said that solar spread is as important as solar growth. It should not be confined to only China, USA, Germany, Spain, India, etc. It must go to Africa, it must go to Latin America, it must go to Australia. In other words, it must spread to the people. So we call it solar should move from class to mass, there is an essential precondition for all these ideas to reach to the people. That is, that it should be affordable. The cost must be reduced. And that cost reduction has been achieved by this, as we see the presentation. Therefore, this very idea we must complement ESA, International Solar Alliance, for carrying out this important exercise for all of us with the expertise of EESL. So now the price reduction has been achieved. We also must realize that there are other uses of solar pumps, which is not just agriculture or irrigation. As electricity supply, of course, the surplus electricity goes to the grid and can be used. And even if you go for independent off-grid, some microgrids can meet the demand of energy in the surrounding area. But also, there are experiments which I know and can easily take on, is that apart from irrigation, this water can be stored in a large tank or a reservoir, and then there is a business case of selling this water to whoever requires it at an affordable price again. Therefore, that water need also can be met through these solar water pumps. And through this, the DISCOM dependence goes away, which is another very important thing achieved. And when this electricity is produced at the farm, it is at the far end of the grid. So it, in a way, strengthens the grid also. All the losses, etc., are not there. Another important thing to be realized is through this solar water pump and cost reduction and involving the farmers, we are involving the smallest of the farmers to participate in the fight against climate change. Now, all this is, for instance, there, but very important is to implement this. This is just a price discovery that has been made, but unless you really take it to the people through implementation, and that is where again the Global Solar Council and similar organizations count. We have a memorandum of cooperation and understanding with the ESA to take all the ESA messages to our various associations throughout the world, and that is how we propose to take this important solar pump idea also. So, with these words, I wish all the success for this solar pump idea. There is one more small thing which my colleague Ramesh Patidar will cover. That is, in India, already a scheme has been formulated where the solar pump will be installed at various farms. So, we say kind of solar pump on every farm. And that is known as Kusum Yojana. The government is encouraging in a big way. And that is where instead of, let us say, his requirement is 5 kilowatt of a typical farmer solar pump, he puts up not only 5 kilowatt, he puts up 10 kilowatts. So that 5 kilowatt also he will use for only 2 hours for irrigation. Balance electricity will go to the grid. Similarly, the extra 5 kilowatt will go to the grid. And that is how, instead of asking for electricity, the farmer will supply the electricity. That is the whole idea of Kusum Yojana. So I am sure that he will cover it a little more in detail. So I will now proceed on with the permission of Carlos, to introduce the rest of the colleagues one after the other. And after my brief introduction, I request every speaker to introduce himself, because you know about yourself much better. So always kindly introduce yourself. So I think the next speaker, as I mentioned, Ramesh Patidar. He is the chairman of Shakti Pumps. They are in Madhya Pradesh, and they are a very well-known brand of solar pumps. They have also supplied to many people outside. So may I ask Ramesh Patidar to kindly go further?
Thank you, sir. And good afternoon, dear guests. Thank you, Aisha, to give this opportunity to present as a speaker. Is the most important session. My name is Ramesh Patidar. We are from Shakti Pumps. Shakti Pumps is India's largest manufacturer and exporter of solar water pumping system. We are a 35-year-old company, and from last 10 years, we are providing solar solution in different sectors, including agriculture, water supply sectors also. We believe solar is the future. Everybody must know solar is the future. Why? Because it's available each and every part of the world. It's free. It's environment friendly. So we must plan our future with the solar energy. And it is something like, if you are planning to do tomorrow, we should do it today. If you are planning to do it today, we must have done it yesterday. So this is what solar, ISA, International Solar Alliance, is taken a very good initiative to promote the solar energy. It is for benefit for everybody. It's happiness and the prosperity of each and every human being. So we should do it. We should promote the solar energy as much as we can do it. As Mr. Mehta explained about the government of India has taken the initiative to promote the solar energy in irrigation sector. So government of India has launched the scheme, which is called Kusum. The basic objective of a scheme in Kusum is to replace normal electric pumps with the solar pumps to the farmers. And government aims to replace 2.7 million pumps by 2022 throughout the India. And the basic objective of this scheme is to increase the income of the farmers, to get more crops in a year, to reduce the subsidy burden. Now, because Mr. Rana also explained, there are so many subsidy provided by the government of India for the electricity pumps. So we can reduce the subsidy burden also. We can get unlimited irrigation throughout the year. In the meantime, excess power, whatever the excess power we are getting from the solar energy can be sold, and farmers can earn the money from those, not even for the farming, but he can earn the money by selling the solar energy to the government, and government would happy to buy the solar energy. So the farmer is not depend on the government electricity, but he himself producing his own energy for his own purpose. And so this is the one of the scheme can be adopted in other country like Peru. Peru is also the agro-based countries. So Peru is a good potential. Even in all the Latin American countries can use this facility to supply the solar pumps to the farmers also. I will tell you one more example. In India, there is a state called Chhattisgarh. Before, the farmers were totally dependent on the rain. They did not have sometimes they grow the rice for their own use, and sometimes they didn't grow it because they totally depend on the rain. So government has taken the initiative to provide the solar pumps to those farmers where there is no electricity. There was no electricity because there was no grid line also. So once we put the solar pumps over there, now farmers getting 3 crops in a year. In the meantime, crops, they are also doing the fish farming. They are earning $1,000, $2,000 per year by fish farming also. All the farmers are dependent. So this is how the solar energy has been changed the life of the people. This is what the future of the solar, what we are doing in India we urge the people in Africa, well, we have the example in Africa also, where the people were using the diesel irrigation pumps to irrigate the land. They didn't have the money to buy the diesels. We have done the pilot projects, how you can use the solar, because the solar, and Africa is the sunshine country. They have the sun almost 10 months a year. So before, they were buying the diesel to run the pumps. When we put the solar pumps, from last 2-3 years, they are not buying $1 of the diesel. They are saving every year 8,000 to 9,000 from one farmer. Saving. So this is what the solar can do, the magic for every part in the world. So this is what, how we can promote the solar energy in irrigation sector in other countries like Peru, in Latin American country. Thank you very much, sir.
Okay. May I now request Carlos to make his presentation? Mr. Carlos is the Business Unit Director of Grundfos Pumps, Argentina, for Latin
Latin
Okay.
America.
So rest you can introduce yourself.
Yes, I would like to share with you the experience that we are having in Latin America. We started, let's say, in this business in the 90s. In the 90s, the experience was, how to say, very poor, because in general, the solution was not so attractive for the small farmers. So during the years when the solar panel started to be more acceptable in the price, reduce the price, then we started to enter in the market to see that the market was more open to receive this kind of solution. Now at the beginning, I can say until a few years ago, we had two main applications for the solar solutions. One was for to provide water to livestock. That I can say that is maybe 95% of the total applications in Latin America. We have different maturity between markets in receive this kind of solution, probably between Mexico and Argentina and maybe Uruguay are the pioneers in the region, and then is followed by Brazil and Colombia. And maybe there are some additionals or application that each country can lead. But in general, this is more or less the picture. So one of the applications was to provide water to livestock. The other application was to provide water to small communities, rural community inside the country. In that sense, we had a very nice experience in Uruguay, where the water supply company worked to provide water to the 1% of the population that is far away from the main cities. So that population are not able to get the water from the water networks, and the solution was to provide a submersible pump, solar panels, control, and also a dosing pump to disinfect the water. So that was the second application that is very useful, because far, far away from the main city, we can provide water and potable water. The third application that is starting to appear in the picture is for irrigation. Now the situation is changing, because for irrigation we are talking that we need more power, more kilobytes, and that means more solar panels, and change completely the situation. So at the beginning, it was only, let's say, a pump business. Now we are entering in the energy business, where maybe we need to supply 200 kilobytes in solar panels for irrigation. This new business started to appear just a few years ago with the new inverters. That is the advance that we have in the new technology, that we can have this kind of solution and in an acceptable price. one of the challenges that we are facing and we are seeing is that when we analyze the agriculture business, in general, 80% of the business is in less than 20% of the agriculture companies, because they are managing almost 80% or maybe more of the total business, exporting and so on. So we are missing 20% of the company where we have a small company, familiar companies, that they are not able to get this technology. They are not so close to all the new things that appear. They cannot be part of this type of Congress. So that is one of the challenges that we are facing, that in some countries, a reference case in the area is a good chance to promote and to, to involve the community to think in this solution. The other thing, some point that I would like to highlight is the CapEx. For many years, the CapEx, the investment for a solution like this was very expensive, almost it's not possible to analyze. But little by little it started to change, as I think that I mentioned it before. The prices started to grow of the solar panels, and now the situation is different because we are competing maybe with 2 kilometers of cable, and that's it. So this is something that maybe we need to review and to push and promote all the small communities, all the channels that we have to approach the market, to review the budget of the CapEx that we need to invest in a solar solution. That is from my side.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Friends, in my opinion, we should really compliment ISA for giving us a galaxy of really experienced speakers in the field of solar pump application and deployment, which is the most important part. So, Shakti Pump, Grundfos, and the next speaker, Mr. Pashupati Gopalan from Sun Edison Infrastructure. He will mention from his own experience about how in some of the harshest conditions of Western India, in my state of Gujarat, how they have installed pumps which are still working in excellent condition after even 5 or 6 years, of which I am a witness to. And I must also mention that Pashupati Gopalan helped me in forming the National Solar Energy Federation of India 8 years ago, which is really an apex solar organization recognized by the Government of India. So over to Pashu. We fondly call him Pashu. He is Pashupati Gopalan.
Thank you, sir. How many of you understand English? Okay. So a small portion. I'll speak a bit slowly, and hopefully you can follow me. So you can call me Pashu. I run a global solar energy company called Sun Edison. We started installing solar water pump for irrigation for farmers in India and also some parts of Africa and Myanmar and other countries for about 10 years now. So it's been about 10 years. We've installed close to 28,000 installations of distributed solar, which are a few kilowatts, so about 30,000 installations. Some of the most unique projects we have done is, if you look at India, India has about 25 million irrigation pumps which are connected to the grid. And if you assume that they are about 5 horsepower on an average, just for simple maths, I'll say 5 kilowatts, That's 5 kilowatts multiplied by 25 million is about 125 gigawatts. So approximately 20% of India's electricity consumption. In power, it's higher, but pumps don't run every day or 24/7. They run only when the government gives or the distribution company gives power to them, and farmers don't need power every day, pumping every day. So about 20% of India's electricity goes to these 25 million farmers. It's a huge, huge, huge burden for all of India. It costs the Indian government about $10–12 billion every year. So it's a big problem. The farmers are not very happy because they don't get electricity all the time when they need to do pumping. So what needs to happen is we have to convert 25 million pumps all to solar. It can be done and will be done. When we started working in solar irrigation pumping 10 years back, the cost of a 5-horsepower pump was approximately $10,000–12,000, right? Today, in India, a 5-horsepower pump can be installed for about $3,500. And if you take it's significant reduction in price, not as significant as what has happened in rest of solar. I think we used to install solar power plants at about $4 million a megawatt 10 years back, and today it's fallen down to $400,000 a megawatt. So it's fallen down 90%, while in the case of solar water pump, it hasn't fallen that steeply, but nevertheless, in India today, we install solar irrigation pumps, submersible pumps, 5-horsepower submersible pumps for approximately between $3,000 and $4,000. And that is the beauty of the work that ISA and EESL have done. By aggregating demand, they have not released the prices, but they've said that the prices are ballpark similar to the MNRE benchmark price, which is about $4,000. So what happens is, a couple of other things that we have done. One of the most unique projects we have done in India, we were the first ones in India to convert an entire village which was connected to the grid 100% to solar. When that happened, the farmers were extremely happy because of the following reasons. Solar produces power during the daytime, and the farmer needs power for pumping water during the daytime. So it matches nicely in terms of time of day, in terms of use of time. So as a result, he gets control over water supply, which is not the case when you're connected to the grid, because the Indian government is always trying to manage, the various distribution companies are always trying to manage when the farmer gets the power, and sometimes it's in the midnight, middle of the night, and there are other problems with that. You know, there are thousands of farmers every year that die from snake bites because they go and irrigate in their land in the middle of the night. So we have interviewed nearly 5,000 farmers, and so we understand this data on the ground. So giving them power supply during the daytime with solar gives them control. The second most beautiful part is, at least the Indian farmers, when they grow even 3 crops in a year, normally a crop is about, let's say, 100 days, and they grow 3 crops, even then they need water only about 150 to 200 days. So when you set up this power plant, small power plant, it will be utilized only 50% of the time if it is only for pumping purposes. But if it's a grid-connected solar, the farmer can feed the electricity back to the grid when they don't need pumping. So essentially, you have made the farmer a solar farmer as well. and generated a new source of income for him, which is amazing. And India has significant, more than 100 million farmers. So you can convert all of these 100 million farmers and give them a new source of income, and which is what we demonstrated in the project that we did in the state of Karnataka, nearly now 2.5 years back, which was a revolutionary first project that we did, and Kusum scheme that the government has announced borrows significantly from that. The other interesting project we have done is in India, in the state of Gujarat, nearly 75% of India's salt manufacturing happens. You basically have salt water in the ground. You have to pump the salt water, dry it in large parcels of land, which is called salt pan. And when the water evaporates, you're left with salt. You can then sell the salt, process it and sell it. This is how it happens. So pumping used to be a huge part of the cost of salt production for the salt pan workers. There are nearly 200,000 salt workers in this state of Gujarat. And the problem is, a significant cost for them was going towards diesel pumping. It's a no-brainer, it's a simple conversion to make it solar pumping, which is what we've done. We've demonstrated we're the largest operator of solar water pump for salt pan workers in India, and it significantly reduces their energy burden and improves their life. So we're focused on developing unique solutions which can change the life of farmers. But I think the one thing that you can do in Latin America, because unlike Africa, Africa needs a significant amount of off-grid pumps because the grid does not reach everybody. The grid penetration may be low. But if I remember right from my studies of Latin America, which is a few years old, in Latin America, the grid penetration is very, very high. So for Latin America, you might want to consider significantly converting all the irrigation pumps for farmers to solar, and then give the farmer a power purchase agreement so that when he's not pumping water, he can feed the electricity into the grid and help in increase of renewable energy generation. The one last problem I'll mention is, because electricity to farmers is free in India, mostly. In some states there may still be a very nominal charge. Because it's free, many cases farmers pump excessive amount of water. And as a result, we have a huge problem of groundwater depletion because of this free electricity. So it's a vicious circle. So when you give the farmer solar water pump and tell them they will get more money from feeding the electricity back into the grid when they don't pump water, they will only pump the amount of water they need for their crops and not excessive amount of water. They will migrate from flood irrigated crops like paddy and rice and wheat to other more higher revenue generating crops because they have control over water. So they will generate more money from agriculture, plus they will have additional revenue from solar electricity, at the same time preserving the groundwater, which is a national resource for the country. And it's a unique problem in India, perhaps not so much in Latin America, but something that can be very easily addressed, and it's very doable, I think, and will happen in the coming years. Thank you so much.
Friends, another feature of today's session, that it is not only the Indians, Indian experienced people who are there, but we have experts from Europe, Germany, Argentina, we have just finished. So may I now request Ms. Immacula Miracle, International Project Manager, Europe of Central and South America, INES.
Thank you, sir, and thank you also for the International Solar Alliance for inviting me to give my testimony today. I'm going to switch to Spanish now so that at least we can have some kind of variety of the language as well for the audience. Actualmente yo trabajo por el Instituto Nacional Francés en Energía Solar, que es el representante francés de la Alianza Solar Internacional. Entonces, estamos elaborando una propuesta conjunta entre la Alianza Solar Internacional e INES para la elaboración de una guía sobre el bombeo solar. Para la elaboración de esta guía incluye no solo contenido técnico, sino que incluye también diferentes recomendaciones prácticas desde un punto de vista más económico o social, con el cual estamos elaborando un grupo de trabajo. Por el instante, en una primera fase es un grupo de trabajo francés, con entidades públicas y privadas francesas. Y en una segunda etapa queremos que este grupo se expanda a ser un grupo más internacional. El punto clave en el que incide esta guía es hacer entender que el bombeo solar no es un hecho de discusión tan solo técnico, sino que es un debate y una oportunidad más bien socioeconómica y medioambiental. Pues implica una actividad en la que se tienen que implicar los agricultores y en el que intentar optimizar toda actividad de bombeo solar implica entender de base cuál es la actividad de la sociedad y de la comunidad en la cual se va a aplicar. Entonces, 4 aspectos clave en los que incidimos en esta guía práctica son, primeramente, como decía mi compañero, tenemos que hacer que el bombeo solar reaches the mass, que llegue a la sociedad, a la población. La primera fase para lograr eso sería identificar cuáles son las necesidades de base. Y para eso implica saber cuál es la cantidad que queremos lograr de bombeo, de agua, cuál es la calidad también, cuál es el periodo de horas en el que se quiere bombear, cuáles son los lugares de bombeo y cuál es el costo. Para lograr respuestas a todos esos factores, lo que se implica es tener un diálogo con los stakeholders, lo que serían los actores locales de la comunidad en cuestión, pues tanto sean las autoridades e instituciones más elevadas como la población de base. El segundo aspecto clave sería cómo lograr un uso eficiente del agua. Tenemos que evitar a todo precio que haya un malbaratamiento del agua, pues eso debe ser visto no tan solo como una dificultad y un hecho negativo desde un punto de vista técnico, sino también desde un punto de vista socioeconómico. ¿Cómo evitar este malbaratamiento del agua? Desde un punto de vista técnico está claro que los utensilios y las herramientas que se van a utilizar van a ser puramente técnicas, pero desde un punto de vista socioeconómico se pueden utilizar 4 vías, 4 metodologías para poderlo evitar. El primero sería la existencia de elementos de cuantificación del agua que se consume. El segundo sería realizar talleres de sensibilización a la ciudadanía y a los agricultores sobre la cantidad que sería óptima bombear. Y eso implica poner en relación los expertos en bombeo solar y en agua con la ciudadanía misma. La tercera herramienta sería crear comités de gestión local que se encarguen no tan solo de colectar datos sobre el consumo que se hace del agua, sino también cómo optimizar el uso del mismo y cómo lograr un buen mantenimiento del bombeo solar. Y la cuarta herramienta sería la aplicación de la metodología que en la primera intervención mi compañero comentaba, sería la metodología of Demand Side Management, que sería cómo motivar a los diferentes agricultores a que hagan un uso eficiente de esta agua y de los recursos en solar. Hay un sistema en el cual se está aplicando en algunos países de América Latina, implica tener un batch inicial, como una herramienta, un carnet, en el cual se le da un dinero por adelantado al agricultor para que pueda hacer el funcionamiento de la infraestructura de bombeo solar y que le sirva a la vez de un adelanto en salario. Otros métodos que existen sería la posibilidad, como decía también mi compañero, de facilitar que la energía que se logre de estas instalaciones de bombeo solar se puedan conectar al uso de conexión de internet o de recarga del celular en la propia casa. El tercer elemento clave en el que hablamos en la guía y que creo que es uno de los que se tiene que poner más énfasis, es cómo los agricultores van a lograr pagarlo. ¿Cuáles van a ser las metodologías de pago? El primero que se logra nombrar normalmente es los agricultores van a hacer un pago de sus instalaciones en efectivo. Pero eso tiene limitaciones. Entonces están explorando otras metodologías que puedan facilitar a los agricultores de disponer de todas las instalaciones de bombeo solar, a la vez que ayudarles económicamente. Hay un sistema que se llama en inglés Pay as you go, o también otra vez mencionado como Water as a Service, en el que la cantidad de agua que se logra ahorrar se puede servir como elemento de subvención o como salario para los agricultores. Otra metodología se llama Pay as you grow, es decir, pague en el momento en el que obtiene suficientes recursos de recolectas. El agricultor va a pagar las instalaciones de energía solar según la cantidad que haya conseguido recolectar mediante el uso de las mismas, y eso le va a servir como elemento para poder invertir en el mejoramiento y ampliación de las mismas instalaciones solares.
May I request you to conclude? There are 3 more speakers.
Y el último punto clave, con el cual me va perfecto con el tiempo, y en el que mencionamos en la guía, es el hecho esencial de la formación. Cómo formar los agricultores a diferentes sociedades en diferentes comités, los comités institucionales, los comités técnicos, los comités de formación, los comités políticos, puede ayudar a dar el conocimiento suficiente, no tan solo técnico, sino también en los aspectos socioeconómicos que se deben integrar en la gestión de todo un mecanismo de bombeo solar. Gracias.
Okay, thank you. So, next I would request Ms. Katja Lovon, specialist in comprehensive and smart solar-powered pumping solutions, Lawrence, Germany.
Muchas gracias a todos. También me dijeron que puedo hablar castellano. Entonces, concordo mucho con nuestro amigo Carlos, que falta conseguir llegar a las personas, a los agricultores pequeños, que naturalmente considero una responsabilidad del gobierno de ayudar a financiar soluciones. Pues más escuché naturalmente mucho de reducción de precio tenemos que bajar el precio. El riesgo es siempre perder la calidad, no solamente del sistema de bombeo solar, pero también de la ejecución de la instalación y de los materiales, que todo eso tiene un límite, y eso es muy importante observarlo. Concordo también con Inmaculada que el Pay as you go, el sistema Pay as you go es el modelo del futuro de pagar por el servicio de agua. Ahora, en relación a la cuantificación, que es el trabajo de la ISA de juntar mucha demanda para solicitar, digamos, miles de bombas juntos, para bajar precio, tiene unos desafíos, pues el bombeo solar necesita un dimensionamiento. Entonces, hay varios modelos de bombas, solamente de nuestra empresa 200 diferentes modelos, y hay la altura que tenemos que considerar, que necesitamos elevar el agua, hay la cantidad que también Inmaculada mencionó, que es muy importante, saber la cantidad de agua que necesita su cultivo, su comunidad. Muchas personas llegan, quiero una bomba, y ni saben cuánta agua necesita. Eso es un punto muy importante para que la solución que ofrecemos sea adecuada y no sea muy cara. Y el tercero, naturalmente, el lugar de instalación, y con todos sus factores ambientales y climáticos, de la irradiación, de la temperatura ambiente, de todas sus propiedades de agua en el lugar. Entonces, eso hace difícil ofrecer una solución, es casi imposible, que sirve para 1000 pozos diferentes, pues las condiciones son muy diferentes de un local a otro. Eso es el otro desafío en este pedidos de masa así, ¿no? Entonces, por eso que creo que es muy importante el trabajo de Inmaculada para garantizar en todo este proceso que sea justo y que sea así, que observa los puntos importantes para el dimensionamiento profesional, la instalación profesional, esta guía que están elaborando. Y bueno, para que cada uno reciba una solución que realmente le funciona, pues si recibe una bomba de 60 metros de altura para un riego de arroz que es por inundación, no vale funcionar naturalmente. Entonces ahí tenemos que ver que las especificaciones en las licitaciones sean justos e inteligentes para la especificación de bombas solares y que especifica lo que importa, que es el agua. Se basea en la cantidad, en la necesidad hídrica por día que podemos conseguir y más, also un punto a más, cómo evitar el exceso de uso de agua, sería principalmente utilizar las posibilidades que tenemos con las bombas solares, que son más inteligentes que bombas convencionales o bombas a diésel, pues tienen muchas entradas, analógicas entradas, donde puede agregar sensores y puede medir por sensor de nivel, sensor de presión, el nivel en su pozo, por ejemplo. Y no solamente ver actualmente qué está ocurriendo, pero entendiendo también en el histórico, mi nivel en mi pozo está bajando. Entonces es inclusive un instrumento tanto para el agricultor, para controlar su riego, principalmente riego donde tenemos muchas cantidades de agua, como también a nivel gubernamental, donde tenemos estos instrumentos a disposición para evitar, para prevenir una baja que ocurre globalmente, como ha mencionado el amigo también, por uso excesivo de agua. Entonces podemos ver, aquí empieza a bajar, estamos esgotando el acuífero, entonces podemos tomar decisiones inteligentes y saber a tiempo, antes que se esgota, que tenemos que construir otro pozo o bajar o controlar el uso del agua. Y eso seguramente es una tarea importante de la educación. Y bueno, creo que en el ámbito del bombeo solar, Perú es un buen ejemplo, pues por ejemplo la APES ya trabaja muchos años en la promoción de la energía solar y en la educación también de este nivel universitario, de estas nuevas energías renovables también para el bombeo solar. Y pienso que eso sería importante para observar. Muchas gracias.
So, we quickly go over to the next speaker. You know, Coal India has been in news since early morning today. So, our next speaker is from Coal India, Dr. M.K. Mishra, General Manager, Coal India Limited. Yeah. Kindly limit yourself to 5 or 6 minutes.
Respected Chairman, sir, esteemed panelists, and august gathering, ladies and gentlemen. In the earlier session, Mr. M.K. Singh from Coal India, General Manager, he was incidentally invited as co-chair, has stressed upon the need of solar energy for coal mining purposes. I will not take much of your time. I just want to impress on you that each unit of electricity generation consumes around 0.4 to 0.5 kg of coal, around 7.5 to 8 liters of water. Also, there is generation of ash and the pollution to the environment. On the other hand, if solar energy is adopted, 1 megawatt of solar plant produces around 1.66 million units per year, and it requires a land of around 12 square meter for 1 kilowatt of solar plant. So coming to Coal India context, Coal India consumes around 5,000 million units per year, and the cost is around 3,000 to 3,500 crores per year. And out of this electricity, around 25% of the power is being consumed for pumping. Because you see that in coal mining, pumping is an important activity. And the range of pumps that we deploy in our mines, the range goes from 9.3 kilowatt 550 volt pump as a phase pump in the underground mine to 800 kilowatt pump of 6.6 kV voltage rating having 225 LPS capacity with 250 meters head. With this, I will just give I will take just 3-4 times and give you some statistical data as far as India is concerned. So, the deployment of pumps at different sectors in India, in agriculture sector it is 50%. Out of this 50% pumps, 73% are electrically operated and 27% diesel operated. And the number of electrically operated pumps are 19 millions, and that of diesel is 7 millions. In the domestic sector, the electric pumps percentage is only 20%, out of which 90% are operated electrically and 10% with the diesel. And industrial sector, 30%. Total pumping requirement is 30%, out of which electrically driven pumps are 70% and rest are diesel. Total 20% of electricity generated is consumed for pumping activity in India, and for this 20% of electricity generated, we need 85 million ton of coal every year, 85 million ton of every year, which is equivalent to the amount of imported coal in 2012. For a particular head, as you know, if the pumping per minute is more, then the electricity consumption is less. So bigger pumps are more efficient as far as electricity consumption is compared to the small pumps. So low head pumping is mostly suitable for solar pumping system, although I have been informed that they are manufacturing pumps of 200 kilowatt rating. Just 1 hour back, I was there in the exhibition. They told that 200 kilowatt pumps, Shakti pumps, they are telling, 200 kilowatt pumps can be operated with the solar pumping system. So, India, as you know, is an agricultural based country, and 50% of the country's workforce is employed in agriculture. And agriculture gives 15% GDP to the economy. Thus, the lower operational cost in agriculture shall result into cheaper agriculture product and shall control inflation also. Although DISCOMs are providing electricity, but the rural belts which are not getting the quality electricity from the grid, for them solar pumps are only the answer. The standalone pumps can serve a better purpose compared to the electrically driven pumps because of the power cuts or the voltage fluctuations. These pumps may not operate efficiently. Then the remote location is also one of the biggest advantage for using solar pumps. So if we replace diesel pumps with the solar pumps, we get an internal rate of return of 10%. Then on-demand power solar pumps can give during the day hours, and irrigation is mostly done during the day hours. So replacement of 1 million diesel pumps with solar pumps would result in diesel use mitigation of around 9.4 billion liters over the life cycle of solar pumps. And this subsidy saving of diesel is around 8,400 crores, and CO2 emission abatement is around 25.3 million tons. So replacement of 1 million electric pumps with solar pumps would result in reduction of 2,600 million units of electricity and 2.5 million tons of carbon. So you see, if we reduce our electricity consumption, on the other hand, we are also reducing the coal consumption, and the output from the thermal power plants can be reduced, which will also reduce the pollution level. So better crop yields. So output is increased by around 2,000 crores if we use solar pumps for better irrigation purpose. So overall, 30,000 crores shall be saved within 15 years. So other is the data. I am not going to stress on this, but just only one point from technical point of view, I will say that now we are using the AC pumps. So solar power plant is generating DC and it is converted to AC by inverter. If we can use DC pumps in place of AC pumps, that inverter part is removed, although cost is higher, but the technology is coming. With this, I thank you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So our next and the last speaker of this session, Mr. Shrikant Sharma of Indian Energy Exchange.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I thank ISA also for this opportunity to speak in front of you all. First of all, I would like to say that solar water pumping is important for countries where agricultural sector decides the future course of economy. And I will gradually come to 3 points. What are the issues in this sector and what are the potential benefits that you can get out of using the solar water pumping? And finally, I would come to what are the best practices that can be implemented in countries. So coming to the issues, we have basically issue of gradual reduction of water table, which Mr. Pashupati has also underlined, that since the electricity is provided to farmers is almost free of cost, so they use it very carelessly, and that is one of the reasons why there is wastage of water and the water table is also reducing. Second is the theft. There is theft of electricity also in most of the countries. They are facing this issue. There is also usage of inefficient pumps where they use diesel pumps which are not very efficient, and for that there is also pollution issue also. So now I come to the potential benefits, the impacts that we can get out of using the pumping system. There are basically 3 impacts. First is the environmental impact, second is the social, and third is the economic. So as we all know, the environmental impact is that it will reduce the emissions and the pollution. And secondly, the social impact is that it will improve the standard of living of people. It will improve the health quality. It will cater to the education, gender issues which are happening right now. Thirdly, I come to the economic aspects where there is saving on subsidy, and there is forex saving also, for which like if you are using a diesel pump, you have to import oil. If you are using a solar pump, your government need not have to import any extra oil, for which he has to pay the forex amount. There is more job creation, and of course, if there is bidirectional flow of electricity, like farmer is generating more electricity, then it will be an improved farmer income source also. So these are basically the potential benefits. Now the best practices, of course we know that this industry is going to rise to a next level in very short period of time. It is expected that the industry will reach $148 million by 2022 with a compound annual growth rate of 32.2%. So we believe that developing policies which subsidizes the capital cost, which provides bidirectional flow of electricity, and providing operation and maintenance for the first few years will basically help develop this market at a faster pace. Now, subsidizing capital cost, as my colleague here, Mr. Ramesh, said that in India there is a Kusum scheme where the government is also providing certain subsidy. So let the government provide 30% of the subsidy, rest 60%, some amount of that can be taken as loan, and the farmer ends up paying a very nominal amount. So that is one part of the policy making where we can focus on. Second thing is providing bidirectional flow of electricity. So this caters to the issue of careless usage of electric pumps. How, like the farmer only use it whenever required. The extra amount of electricity which is generated from the solar pump, it is being given back to the grid. So basically the wastage of water is reduced. Thirdly, operation and maintenance for first few years. How this helps is like if you are not providing operation and maintenance, then farmer will end up paying for that and might be using the diesel pumps also, where they end up paying a bigger amount for the maintenance. So this is what I thought I should focus on, and that is the summation from my side.
Okay, thank you very much. So with that, we come to the end of the session. I would like to just add one more piece of information for you, is that I kept on mentioning Global Solar Council. Some of you may be wondering what is Global Solar Council. Global Solar Council was formed at Paris during the climate talks when ISA was formed, ESA was formed. But ESA was a government-to-government affair, and Global Solar Council is a private sector response to global warming and climate change. And we work hand in hand with organizations like ESA, IRENA. That means we work hand in hand with various governments to take this message forward for solar pump. So we'll greatly help in this solar pump penetration once the tender results, etc., are announced finally. So with these words, this session comes to a close, and I think we have been able to manage in time. Thank you all the speakers for adhering to time. Thanks a lot. Question?